And with that out of the way, it's now time to address the freshers in the room. Now, I've been told I'm somewhat of a boomer of this podcast, so it's important for me, I think, to understand the younger generations. And so, Rosie and so John, tell us about Aidans Antics. It's an Instagram account, I know that much, but what is it all about? Where do you get your memes from? And what is your favorite meme? Tackle those three questions between the two of you.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know what you mean by your. Isn't we don't know who runs Aidan's Antics, unfortunately, as much as we wish we did. But that's a hot topic.
Well, there's a lot of debate going around about who it might be. I'm waiting to see some evidence.
It's just a coincidence that you two happen to be on the podcast to talk about it. We must make that clear.
We're just representing the freshers who are involved in the submission of memes. Well, Rosie and I submit a lot of memes to the Instagram account, which get posted, but we don't actually know who's posting them. But so it's obviously someone in college. My favourite meme. There's quite a few about me that I find quite funny. Which one of me would you say is the funniest, Rosie?
I think my personal favourite, which is one that I sent in, which was quite early on, was so Mr. Loudon is currently actually sporting a mullet. I don't know if you can.
It's not very good. But
it's gone down a little bit, but
two darn students among us.
He may have made a Tinder when we were householded with Elle.
Oh yes,
they all got mullets called the Mullet Men, and so I sent one in of. I don't know if you guys watched the Tiger King back in the. With what's his? I can't remember what his name was when he married the two guys and they all had mullets.
Oh right.
I sent that in. There we go. As we speak, the Mullet Men.
Should be our Tinder profile.
Which I love personally. Not to rate myself, but. But there are a lot of on, which makes me think that he's not running the account.
I just think I'm a hot topic in college, quite frankly. But who knows? Or an easy target would be a better use of words.
Good banter.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
I mean, I quite like the Gordon Ramsay one where he's going fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, and someone put John when he walks into a room full of girls. I thought it was quite. That was good. I also like the one of. I can't share the one of Joe Kelly actually because he shouldn't be in there. I quite like Amelia. Amelia O'Keefe is a very stingy young lady, and if you owe her a penny, she will come after you. She will send the bailiffs after you. So there's quite a few referring to her financial stingency. So
I think
they're quite good as well. Yeah, they're good.
So there's quite a few about Isla as well. She has a tendency to. In fact, we actually did a little quiz last night, and I think she was voted over 75% out of about 20 people as the biggest liability when drunk. In first term, she cracked her head open, had to call an ambulance.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sakanya was not very happy. The welfare team not being very well fair, I would say. But
she was trying to do the bridge over a drain and fell over, which was quite funny. That'll be some highlights for me, but it's a good page. It's good. I enjoy
lots of content. I think they're on 200 posts now.
I think it's done well to continue in Easter as well.
I tried scrolling.
Hopefully it will keep up next term.
I tried to scroll through to do some research for this. I think I only got halfway through, but it was brilliant. But there was a lot of memes in there. And actually, I'll just say, I'll open this up to the bustling comment section of YouTube as well. And so pause this video if you're watching it now. Go onto your phone and search Aidan's Antics on Instagram. I don't think it's private. It might be private. They'll accept you if it is. And scroll through and find your favorite meme. And please comment it in the comments section below. And yeah, just to make me laugh. There's no prize for doing that, but I want to laugh.
You can beat the record of last time's comments.
We had 6 comments in our last video. See if we can beat 6.
Not bad. Might increase the subscribers.
And a full 5 minutes each that everyone spent watching our video as well. So the trajectory is just massive for this podcast.
Well, that means I can say whatever I want then. That's good. No one's going to watch me.
No one's going to get
this. Everyone's given up by now.
Yeah. So I can just say all the illegal stuff.
I think they probably gave up when they heard that someone on this call goes to Oxford, to be honest.
Yeah.
Big depression. Yeah, absolutely. So you had the second question.
Yeah, I mean, so we've gotten a bit of a sense of it from what you've already said, but it was just about like what Epiphany was like being in college, if you have any good anecdotes, and then when you got back to college, how was it with policing and security and like the way it was handled by college?
Have you ever watched Escape from Alcatraz? Because that was quite, I felt like I was living in that movie quite a lot. I had to
I second
potter
that.
around, chased by what's this private security who, quite frankly, used to be the scariest bouncers on this planet. They have this, the central Durham security vans drive around.
We've lost it.
When a bunch of burly northeastern men pulled up and asked me who I was and where I was going, which I didn't think had anything to do with them, but they decided it was their business. So I refused to tell them, and they kind of just.
Our Wi-Fi cut out.
Oh, sorry. What did you hear?
Nothing. Ever since the Alcatraz.
Yeah, it's like Escape from Alcatraz. Everywhere you turn, there's a bloke in black clothing with a mask on staring
Well, I
at
was
you.
once asked when I was going into my own house, like in college, I was literally coming back from lunch and I didn't have my key. So I was ringing the doorbell for someone to let me in, and I won't say who, but they opened the door and they were like, can you prove to me that this is your house? And I was like, I live here. Do you want to go up to my room? Like, so yeah, but to be fair, they've tried. Like, obviously the JCR was open, but then it shut because there were too many COVID breaches, which I think happened like maybe halfway into term, maybe a bit more. Which, to be fair, I think it's amazing that it stayed open for that long, to be honest. But then in the last few weeks, they opened it again for like household bookings, which is really good because there's a new darts board.
Is there?
There's two, isn't there?
Very exciting, very exciting.
Yeah, but that whole JCR thing is a disgrace because we're lucky that in our houses we actually have a table and chairs, whereas in the straights and curves they have to sit either in people's rooms or on the floor of and it's. I think that kind of normally, obviously, it wouldn't really matter, but they could have easily just gone to the bar when it was closed or something and said, "Can we take some chairs?" And then they give them back at this point.
They asked if they could take the stools from the JCR and put them in their kitchen, because they literally, I don't know if you guys, I don't know what housing you're in, but in the Straits, like they just have like a little bar table.
From pictures that we've seen of the Straits, that is.
And
I've never personally been in there.
Wouldn't know. And yeah, basically they were like, no, you can't do that because it's a fire hazard, which is like fair enough, but also if you're going to shut their only social space.
Oh, fuck it. This whole idea of fire hazards. Oh, you'd think the whole place was made of timber. We had 2 cardboard boxes on our electrical hob.
Got a kitchen.
The kitchen was locked for over 15 hours or something like that. And we had to have a Zoom call where we were, quite frankly, condescended like there was no tomorrow from the powers that be. And then they eventually let it open. And then as they were talking about our lifestyle and how we had left it, our own kitchen in a mess full of beer cans and wine bottles. But I mean, I've got nothing else to do apart from sit in the kitchen and drink, to be honest. So I don't see what they expect me to do with my litter. But I mean, obviously it's going to be put in the bin anyway. But the so-called cleaners who've never cleaned before decided that was a hazard and that they'd have to lock our kitchen. So instead of just not doing the work and just walking out, they decide to take my funnel off me, which apparently is terrible. And I'm an alcoholic now, according to the college.
No. Apparently we signed something when we joined Aidan's, which said that we're not allowed to play drinking games. I don't remember signing that, but apparently we did.
Yeah, and even apparently a pool chart constitutes a drinking game.
Yeah.
Indeed.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Sorry, what was the last thing you said?
Chunder chart and a pool chart. Apparently that's a drinking.
Apparently that counts as a drinking game. So we've had to use different terminology for our
the households in the street.
Turn that around though and say it's to help people get off the binge drinking because you're trying to
record it. Then they feel shamed.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the households in the streets had a pool chart and a chunder chart, and the cleaners like saw it, and then they each had to have an individual welfare meeting. But yeah.
Because in third week of term they had more than 20 chunders or something each, but.
Well, I feel like it's not been great that
what is there?
It's not been great that the welfare like the same. They're the people doing like they're in charge of COVID breaches, but then they're also in charge of welfare. Because like the same.
I've never seen them do anything to do with welfare apart from have a go at me.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not an ideal system, but I don't know. Hopefully next time things are going to improve. We will see. But it's been a great time, to be fair. We've enjoyed it. We have very much enjoyed it.
I think it's been quite good having less people, actually, because you've been able to get to know people sort of better, as opposed to our college is quite big, and you don't realise this. We only realised this term, but in first term there's 300-400 people almost there, and you realise how many people you don't actually know. So it's been quite good to get to know people better, socially distanced, of course.
The end, because the weather was so nice, like just being able to like sit outside, and they let us use the court as well, the tennis court, which we
I went through the whole of first year not actually ever stepping foot on the tennis court, and I don't really know what it was.
No, it's good. It's good. Like at least they're letting us like actually use it now. We did it in first time, which was just stupid, but there were complaints, and now
the gym was open for the first half of term, and then someone decided to phone the local council and tell them that we were using a gym, which was obviously affecting their life so much as they walked past with their dogs. But
that was a shame.
So that was quite annoying when they shut that.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, I think Zoe and I, we do have plans to see. These are very quite vague plans at the moment, but we do have plans to ask Susan Frank, our college principal, onto the podcast at some point as well, because I think it's quite interesting to get the very different and opposing sides of this story, of the college experience, because
that'll go down well.
I think some questions would be good. Like there are definitely a few questions that I can think of that I would love to hear the responses to. So
yes, and then you'll get the responses.
We were tempted to.
Is there a time limit, Ed, on the length of these podcasts?
Pardon?
Is there a time limit on the length of these podcasts?
No, it's very much how long the viewers can stay awake for, really.
There we go. You should be okay for that.
The other ones before coming on.
Yeah. We'll be all right. But yeah, no, we were planning. Well, we thought of having Susan on this with you guys on this episode.
So we thought that might be
quite fortunate that hasn't happened. I think. Yeah. Do I have the final? I do have the final question. You guys were saying in the break about, or you mentioned very candidly about some of the porters, and so I just wanted to ask you about that as well, because, and I'm sure Joe will agree with me as well. I just remember having a really great relationship with the porters last year. It was very, they were just really nice.
All of our porters are super nice, I think.
Yeah.
There's only one I would say that isn't.
Okay.
I think like
body cameras you were saying. Oh, tell us about this, because again, second years, third years, we don't know what's going on with these. So tell us about the porter situation.
I think it's like we do like have good relations with quite a lot of the porters, but I think as Chit was saying, like they are really nice, and like I was saying in the break, like David, like when I handed my key and he was like, send me a postcard, which is a bit random, but I appreciated the sentiment. But like I think because obviously we're so confined to college, I think it just like is quite a bit of a different. It's just more intense, isn't it? And like one of the porters wears a body cam, which
nickname is Batman.
Quite.
Because he chased some bike thieves apparently, and his coat flapped around.
Like there's some good ones on there. But yeah, I think it's just like obviously it's just intense. Like even if you're not really doing anything, it's like having someone walk towards you with a body cam is a bit off-putting, But there's rumours going around that apparently that we're going to have for next term, but we'll see, I guess. But no, to be fair, we do get on with them.
HMP Durham it'll be, so that'll be fun.
Stories. Some of them have some great stories.
I guess it's difficult, as you say, John. They are having to police it like a bit more. Whereas for us before COVID, like they didn't really have that as a job per se. Unless
exactly.
They never had to tell you off.
Yeah.
It's not their job, is it? Like they're porters, they're not security. So like their job isn't to like chase people around and like tell them off for being in the wrong flat. So it's a bit like I see their point in the sense that maybe they might think it's a bit unfair on them to be like to do that, but at the same time, the people who live in college, like that is their home, even if it's just their term time home. I don't feel like you should feel like a criminal for like walking around your own college. But
there was like there's quite a lot of complaints about it, so they did like ease it. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens next time, because also with I don't know if they're gonna like obey the government rules or like have their own like university-wide rules, because obviously it's going to be like 2 households indoors or whatever. I don't know if they'll do that, because if they do that, it'll get confusing very quickly.
Do you know of anyone who's been kicked out of halls?
Not in Aidan's, but
not in Aidan's.
Really?
Or who? I know someone. I know someone from Hatfield.
Yeah, I was gonna say a guy in Hatfield.
He's been kicked out, but that's because he's just corrupt.
I think that's less to do with.
No, yeah, that was COVID breaches plus other things. I think, I don't know. But apparently at Mary's, people were kicked out quite quickly.
Yeah.
They've been firing off the amber warnings, the red warnings, and all these, and they have like a bunch of different acronyms as well. Like, it's been super stringent. And I hope also to get some people from Hatfield or different colleges on as well. If you're watching, Annie, hello, we'll be sending you the invite very shortly. But yeah, no, I've heard that people they've even left college in fear of being suspended from it or whatever. So I'm very glad that hasn't happened in Aidan's.
Didn't the University of Manchester put like fencing around one of their?
Yeah.
I need a friend from Manchester who can tell us more about this. Did you guys hear about that as well? They had like it really was.
Yeah. And my friend, she's in that accommodation, and she was like with all the rioters pushing the fences down the day after, stuff like that. So that was. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. But didn't Manchester say that was to stop drug dealers and rapists, which is the most random thing to like?
They can't jump fences.
I was gonna say, like, why have you if it's stopping drug dealers and rapists, why have you only built it now? Like,
exactly, yeah. Maximum silliness from our colleagues in Manchester.
I mean, it's quite easy to get into Aidan's though as well, compared to the Bailey colleges.
Yeah. Aidan's has
as
a fence on a massive hill, doesn't it? So that's
people like come for walks up there. Like, if you're in the library, like there's this like old couple, and they like, I spoke to them once, and they come on their daily walk every day, and they just like let their dogs like roam around.
Also at night there'll be like groups of students trying to find something to go to, and then the security subsequently have to run after them, and they run off, and then the vans turn up, and it's all great.
We had
normally centered around south and things like that, isn't it? So you can always hear them
this term. One
Mm,
of our mates his bike was attempted to be stolen, and they like cut the locks. Like they got the key into the thing, but then apparently they were like running across, like the field, not where the horses are, but like to the right.
Next to the steps.
Yeah, yeah. They were like rolling down that hill. These like people who stolen the bikes with the bikes, and I think it was uni security actually.
Wow.
Yeah, uni security
managed to like grab the bikes, but the guys got away.
Oh, that was a thing last year as well. Someone in my house, like, there was a bike break-in or something with the bike shed. Do you remember that, Joe? Were you? No, you.
Yeah, my bike got stolen in the first year. From the bike
Did you get it back?
Aidan's. No, it's gone. Someone's probably bought some beers with it since it's been stolen.
Yeah, like
if anyone sees a green and yellow bike in Durham,
this
could be how we find Joe's bike. Fantastic.
Get the message out.
Oh, brilliant. I think that is actually it for that segment as well. Thank you so much, Rosie and John. Absolutely fantastic.
No worries.
And if you're watching this, take this opportunity to have a break. Maybe get yourself a beverage, maybe a biscuit or two, maybe
explore Aidan's Antics.
Explore it. Yes, that's the important bit, Rosie. Thank you. Yeah.
But don't play drinking games.
Plugging her page.
We'll be very unhappy.
It's not my page. Like, where's the evidence?
And speaking of plugs, we do have Mr. Joe Chitt coming up next. Joe Chitt here to talk to us